In today's nutrition section, I want to talk about something that has come up more and more and more with my clients specifically recently and other people that I deal with in general, and looking around at the people landscape, the peoplescape, the personscape. This is probably a skill that is either disregarded or it's like complex mathematics that people don't know how exactly to look at a food label, the nutrition panel on foods. If you're watching on YouTube, that thing right there, by law, on all of the containers of food that you purchase. And I've been counseling my nutrition clients recently, and I've been it's been a work, it's been a chore getting people in there, and I've thought that it would be useful to kind of go through what my priorities are when I look at food labels, because there's a lot of information on there. There's a lot of numbers and words and percentages and all this kind of stuff. And I want to kind of try to demystify it, because all I want is for people to be a little healthier and a little more well and a little more capable.
You can only do that with awareness, yeah.
I want you to live for your kids. I want you to live for your spouse, your loved ones, whoever is special in your life. I want you to live for yourself, for crying out loud. And understanding, demystifying food packaging, the nutrition panel on food packaging, I think is going to help. So I thought that we would get into this. Order of priority. So when you pick whatever the box or bag or whatever it is of food up and you see this label, you're going to see certain things. And like I said, they're required by law to put this on there, but you need to pick. They're not going to help you. You need to pick your way through this. And I just happen to have this box of RX bars, which we'll get into later. But the order of priorities. So the very first thing that you need to understand is serving size and servings per container. And we joke about what all the time? That right there, peanut butter.
The serving size of peanut butter makes me sad.
This is a quintessential example of something about which people have no idea what a serving size is. And there's a meme, I think it's even military based, that like, hey, grunts, hey, jarheads, this is a serving of peanut butter. And it shows a tablespoon, not this. And it shows 2 pieces of bread with like a 3-inch spread of peanut butter in between them. So first and foremost, knowing what a serving size is and how many servings per container, because they're going to put in big numbers on there on an individual food item.
Oh, hey, it's 60 calories. Well, that's if you have 2 grains of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So understand where it says servings, how many servings are in here. So in this case, there's 10 servings in this. There's 10 bars in here. And a serving size is 1 bar, but you go down and look in the parentheses, it says 52 grams. And let me put a pin in that. I want everybody on earth right now to go out and buy a food scale. I don't care where you get it from. I'm not pimping food scales. I don't care. Just go on your favorite retail site or get up and go to the store and buy a food scale. It's going to cost you like $10. And this is going to be the thing. If you're looking to tighten up your nutrition, to lose fat, or increase your gains, if you're wanting to do bodybuilding. Gains! I forgot. I meant to make that button and I forgot to do it. You're going to need to know this stuff. So they're going to tell you,
but I will say, get a digital one, because I've had the spring-loaded ones before, and they're great. But get a digital one.
Yeah, I'm an aficionado of all things analog, being Primo Gen X, but get a digital scale. You can get a digital scale with a tare feature on it, T-A-R-E. That means that when you put the bowl or whatever the thing that is holding the food you want to measure, you hit the button and it zeroes it out, so it only measures the food or liquid or whatever.
I had this wonderful food scale. It was like this big, about the size of a small plate, and then it had this big bowl in it. And I actually, when I started rescuing cats and kittens, that's what I used to put the kittens in to weigh them, because I needed to make sure they were getting, like, they needed to be, gaining weight at a certain rate, to make sure they were getting enough, because they were bottle babies. And then also, when they were a certain weight, they could get fixed. So anyway, like, my food scale then converted into a kitten weight scale. And so it is a versatile utensil in your household.
As Alton Brown would say, it's a multitasker.
There you go.
And anytime you can have a multitasker, not a unitasker, in your kitchen, shout out to Alton Brown. All right, so serving size and servings per container. Understand what the heck that means. Now, you need to know, what are you going to do? What are we doing?
I'm using the restroom.
No, I'm just going to wait. I think there was...
Sorry, that was horrible timing. Food scales. My bad. I was like, I can hold it. But what did I say last time? My hydration is now to such a level. Don't get too far away from a bathroom. I'm going to stop drinking that. You tell him, Lucy.
Welcome back to the Three Dog Podcast. All right. By the way, go.
Okay.
The software will actually, when I go to edit this,
now I gotta read.
It's going to give me a timeline, and if it sees a blank, or if the AI will actually...
It says it's available and easily.
It's not. I guarantee you that. That's a lie.
Lies.
There's actually a timeline, and it'll put blue dots up there.
Okay.
It'll say, cut this because it's dead air, or cut this because it sounds like it's behind the scenes talk between you two, that kind of thing.
Oh, good.
So it doesn't even take me any effort to do. You got a smile. I hope that smile got caught on camera. He's looking right there. That's Finley, by the way.
So Lucy is licking my calf, and Finley is now stealing the limelight.
All right, so getting back to it, knowing serving size and servings per container doesn't do you any good if you don't know that all macro and micro numbers are based on this. So macronutrients, not to presume that everybody knows what that means. That's your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats. Those are your macronutrients. Your micronutrients are all the vitamins and minerals on the earth. All of the fat-soluble and water-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, B, and C. All the minerals like zinc, manganese, iron, all those things. All of that is based on this number, serving size and servings or serving size more particularly. And so that brings me to the next thing, which is the biggest number on there, which is calories. And so if you see 210 calories, you need to know that there's not 210 calories in this entire box. That is 210 calories per serving. Two things about calories. If you don't know what your calorie needs are, this is going to be meaningless to you. So we need to measure our food, and we need to understand, you need to understand what your TDEE is, your total daily energy expenditure. That's how many calories your body burns by existing, by moving around, and by exercise, by thermic effect of food or feeding, depending on what source you look at. All the things that you do just by existing on the earth burns calories. So know what your total daily energy expenditure is to know the following, which is Are you maintenance? That means you don't want to gain or lose weight. Are you in a deficit? That means you want to lose weight. I'm putting air quotes if you're not watching on YouTube. Lose fat, lose unwanted fat, lose unwanted weight. Or are you a bodybuilder, or you're working out and you want to gain muscle mass? You need to be in a gains. You need to be in a surplus. So you need to know these things. If you're walking in the dark here with this stuff, you are going to be frustrated, like almost everyone is, with your nutrition. Can't even call it a plan. If you don't know this stuff, you don't have a plan, you're going to be frustrated with your diet, and you're not going to get the gains you need. You're not going to be able to lose the weight you want to lose, and you're not going to be able to stay where you need to stay depending on where you're at with that. So calories are meaningless. This calorie number is meaningless unless you know how to assign it to your specific plan. And all of these numbers on this nutrition panel are based on a 2,000 calorie diet. Why do you need to know this? Because not everybody needs to be eating 2,000 calories a day. Mm-hmm. If you are like Brandy, or one meal a day, don't do anything, but I'm super lean and all I eat is sugar, and
who is also not funky,
has no funk, then you don't need to be eating 2,000 calories a day. You're probably not burning 2,000 calories a day. If you are an elite athlete, guess what? If you're Michael Phelps, your total daily energy expenditure is probably 4,000 calories or more. I don't even know. So just to keep from wasting away to nothing, you need to maintain with that. From a personal experience, my TDEE is right around 2,700 calories, and it's been that for about 5 years. Mm-hmm. So I know about where I need to be depending on what I'm training for. If I want to cut, if I want to gain, say it,
gains,
or if I want to stay right where I'm at. I know the calories that I need to eat. I measure my food. I know what I'm eating. All right. So,
well, and let me point something out, because I brought in my raisins.
Yeah.
From all the things I just had done, I'm having some anemia issues, which, while I'm tired and everything.
So you need iron.
So I need iron, right? And so the other thing is, all right, well, this is giving me 4% or 0.7 milligrams of iron a day. And again, that 4% is based on the daily value, based on your calorie intake and the serving size. So, I have to look at this and go, all right, well, if I want to, get this up to 12, so I've got to eat.
Let me guess. The serving size of those raisins is 40 grams.
Yep. So that's a fourth of a cup. So for me, which is 120 calories, and obviously there's a little bit of fiber in here. There's no added sugar, but it's 26 grams of sugar. So for me, looking at this to go, all right, so to get 0.7 milligrams, I would need to eat, with the iron intake I need. Now, I just love raisins. This is great for me. I can just take a little handful and snack on them. So these are like my little iron supplement pills.
The good thing about raisins is that they come with a fairly good bit of fiber. What's the fiber content in
2
there?
grams.
Okay. That's okay.
It's okay. It's not great.
It's going to help offset the sugar.
But I'm just saying, for me to get a little
I got you.
What
I'm wrapping that up with is you got to consider all these.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. For me to say, oh, well, I'm going to get my iron from these, I have to look at how much I have to eat. And it's a risk because I did not know this. One of my friends, she left some oatmeal raisin cookies out and her dog got into them. And raisins and grapes are toxic to dogs.
Yes.
And I had no idea. I love grapes. I love raisins. So that's actually why they're not in here. I have them folded up, baggy clipped in the cabinet. Today I dropped one on the floor and I crawled around in the kitchen to find it, to make sure garbage compactor over here didn't eat one raisin.
I don't think a raisin would kill that dog.
I know. It takes a lot to take down that piece. Oh, but look at that face. Yeah, I know. But just a public service announcement, because I guess this happened last year. So I was 43 years old when I learned that, but for all of you dog lovers and dog owners out there.
All right. And so we're going to kind of wrap what you were talking about into this as we're going. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that'll kind of lead us into that. All right. So to review, serving size and servings per container. You got to know this, because if you just look at the calories, on this thing, I'm holding up a jar of peanut butter. If you're listening on podcast, and you dip out, and you look on there and you see 180 calories. Woo, that's kind of high, but okay. It's only 180 calories. I can deal with that.
How many servings are in that jar?
And you dip out like 4 tablespoons of it. Guess what? You've just consumed
560. What would that be?
About all of your fat for the
640.
day, and probably a third of the total calories that you need to eat for the day. So
how many servings is in that jar, Scott? Total.
35.
Okay, so
35.
just forgetting the 80 part of that, that's 3,500 calories in the whole jar, which is the one thing that does make me feel good about cottage cheese. When I look at the cottage cheese and see there's only 6 servings in there, and I'm like, okay, so if I house this whole thing because I love it, that's only 670 calories. I won't feel too guilty about it, even though it's high fat.
Yeah, and the amount of fat represented by 3,500 calories is substantial.
Yeah.
That's generally the deficit we want to put people in
To lose a pound.
a week.
Yep.
So this is 1 pound of body fat in this jar right here.
But I love you. I'm sorry. I love you.
Typically on an average deficit, for people to lose fat, we want to put them about at a 500 calorie a day deficit, 3,500 calories a week. So there you go.
However, we're not saying peanut butter is a bad food. It is not a bad food.
It's a good food.
It's a decent food in moderation. It can be a healthy fat, although almond butter is better. All those others are better.
And also, it depends on
how much sugar is
the
put in
kind
it
of
and
peanut
whatnot,
butter,
but
which I'll get to here in a second. But all right, and so know your macros and micro numbers. Know where you want to be. Know if you want to lose weight, if you want to maintain, or if you want to gain weight. And I mean gain good weight, gain muscle weight. And again, all this is based on a 2,000 calorie diet. You need to know what your total daily energy expenditure is. Next thing we want to look at is the three horsemen of food apocalypse: sugar, sodium, and saturated fat. That's where your flavor comes from. Guess what's delicious? Sugar, sodium, and saturated fat.
it is.
And when you
I
see,
can attest.
and there's a sliding scale too. It's like a triangle. It's like the exposure triangle. If you know about photography, how if you change ISO, then the other 2 metrics are going to have variable change as well. So when you take away fat, food is not going to have any flavor. So guess what you have to do? Add salt and sugar, or take away one of the other ones. This is sugar-free. Guess what? Well, it's probably going to have artificial sweetener in it, but they're going to add salt and add a galactic amount of salt. So look for those 3 things. Look for those 3 metrics on there. Added sugar. Natural sugar is okay, but you still need to watch out for it. It's still sugar.
Yeah.
But natural sources are better than refined sugars, and most of our natural sugars are going to come from whole foods that contain fiber that are going to regulate your blood sugar. And sodium. We got to watch out for sodium, high blood pressure issues, stroke, all that kind of stuff. And obviously saturated fat, heart disease, brain problems, all that kind of stuff. So watch the content of those and the percentage on those. You do not want a high percentage of the calories in this serving coming from one of those things.
Well, and 2, you said saturated fat, but then isn't there also like monounhydrated monoxide 4,000?
Your 2 healthy fats are mono and polyunsaturated fats. So you're going to see unsaturated fats. Some labels will break them down into those 2, but typically you'll see total fat, saturated fat, and trans fat. And there's this one. This jar of peanut butter actually has poly and monounsaturated fats listed on there as well. Those are the 2 fats that you want to see. Saturated fat, it's not going to kill you as long as you don't guzzle it down in excess. So, and it's trans fats that have been basically outlawed around the world. But a little thing I learned not too long ago about trans fats is the law actually lets there be a certain amount of trans fat in food, and you're still legally allowed to put 0 on there. So just watch out for that.
Same with calories.
All right, so watch out for that. Those the 3 things that make food delicious. Watch out for them in excess. The percentage. Watch for the percentage. The higher percentage of the total calories in the serving of that food that comes from fat, salt, and sugar, you need to be real careful of that. So the next thing I want you, because there's a lot of information on there. It talks about vitamins and minerals and your macros and cholesterol and sodium and all that kind of stuff, which I'll get back to here in a second. But I think that this is one of the most important things in the world right here. And it's the little letters down below that white nutrition panel. And that is your ingredient list. Now, I will typically, that's maybe the second or third thing that I actually pay attention to in my order of priorities, because I'm going to look at, I know what my calories need to be. And I know I've been doing this long enough. I'm a nutrition coach. I know food. I know generally what the calorie content is going to be like. What I'm going to do is look at the macros, the added sugars, and then I'm going to skip down to the ingredients list. And what you need to know about the ingredients list is they are in order of content. So
how much is
whatever is the most
prolific
thing in that food is going to be listed first and in descending order of content. So if you see, like what we looked at the Fruit Loops the other day, what was ingredient 2? Sugar. Put it away. Get away from it.
But you know what's so sad? Got 90% of the food out there, second ingredient, sugar.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, in this case, these RX bars, which is a processed food, but I keep these because I am a realist. I live in the real world. I cannot, like some friggin' trad influencer, some homesteader making content on the internet. I don't have the bandwidth to prepare whole homemade meals 7 times a day, blah, blah, blah. Almost all of my meals that I eat are whole foods, but I need to fill some gaps sometimes. When I have 6 clients back to back to back to back to back, however many backs that was, I need to fill the gaps. I need to get my nutrition in there. And if I can find a processed food that is going to give me a decent ingredient list and a decent...
And it's quick and...
Right.
Yeah,
so here's the ingredient list for these
Absolutely.
RX bars, and I'm not being paid by this company. Ingredient 1, dates. Number 2, peanuts. Then on egg whites, chocolate, peanut flour, natural flavors, cocoa, sea salt. For a processed food, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's no dyes in here. There's
I would
no
say there's nothing you can't pronounce.
industrial seed oils. Yeah, there's no weird. Most of this stuff is food. I think all of it's food.
I picked an easy one. Ingredients, raisins.
The only thing that that bugs me about this is it says natural flavors, and that can mean anything.
Yeah.
But I might eat one of these every 2 or 3 days. So I'm not using that as a main food source. So know that ingredient list. Is there any actual food in that thing? The Fruit Loops bag that we looked at the other day, I'm not sure that there was any actual food in that ingredient list.
Yeah.
Look for hidden sugars. We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Your hidden sugars in particular, because it's going to tell you added sugar, and they're up in the nutrition panel, and they're talking about either refined or natural sugar. Well, added sugar. It's going to be refined sugar. But the hidden sugars are high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, and maltodextrin. If you see that in the ingredients list, that means you're being double or triple sugared. So know that. And then
the dreaded triple sugar.
the evil ones, the dyes. If you see food dyes, please put it away. I don't know why we still allow food dyes in this country. I have no idea. And of course, if you have any allergies or pre-existing health issues, look for your allergens. Obviously, if you have a peanut allergy, you're not going to eat what I just read to you. And then, so we break it down a little bit farther from that. I want to see what you have, but I want to make sure that I get this in there.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing if there's anything worth talking about.
Who needs to know what about any of this stuff? Because you can't get 10 people in a room and have them agree on the color of the paint on the walls. So there's 8.5 billion people in the world, and they're all different physiologically. So for athletes, all right, what you need to look for on your food labels, you need to look for what are the sources of your macros, because this is important to you, because there's a lot of plant proteins that are being used now. And I'm not going to call plant proteins evil or bad, but I will call them suboptimal.
Right. It can't be your only source of protein.
In comparison to animal-based proteins. One of the reasons is that most of your plant proteins, whether it's pea or
Bean, yeah.
stuff like that, is going to have a lot of fiber, and it's going to inhibit muscle protein synthesis to a degree. So and that leads me to this bioavailability of the macros. And that's just a fancy word for how much of this stuff is actually getting absorbed and utilized by your body. Not all foods are equal. And we're talking about macros here. Not all macros are equal when it comes to bioavailability. Absorption. So your high bioavailability proteins are going to be eggs, egg whites, chicken, beef, etc. Whey protein, milk, that kind of stuff. Your like soy, I will call soy evil. Stay away from soy. It's trash protein. It's not worth your money. Stuff like pea protein, it's okay. If you are morally or medically a vegetarian or a vegan, I don't have any issues with that. You need protein though. Yeah. So pea protein, tofu, that kind of stuff. Just know that you're making a trade.
Yeah.
And if you make the trade and you don't preach to us how we're doing it wrong, then we're all good.
And really, if you're going to live that lifestyle, like good for you, why ever you're doing it, but you need to educate yourself as to how to not let it, I don't want to eat animals because I love animals. They have cute little faces. Fine. But you've also got to then take care of yourself too, to know what you're missing. I might have mentioned this before, but one of my best friends was a cross country runner in high school, and she went vegan. And she really underweight. She really had to work and educated herself then, because as an athlete, she was like, all right, I know I need nutrition as a teenage girl too, running cross country. And she did the damn thing. She educated herself, and she was eating the right foods to fuel her body. So her passion for cross country would not suffer. Yeah. People are looking for shortcuts and they're not there. So like I said about the actress you were talking about, if you're going to do a thing, do it right, and it's not for everybody, so don't go preaching out there to it. Just share information. That's what you can do. Instead of saying, you're wrong, I'm right, this is how you do it, just share your information. People will be a lot more receptive to you. Another thing athletes you need to look for is cooked food versus raw food. This is a thing. Everybody wants to eat raw. Raw lends itself to less bioavailability of macros than cooked food, because cooked food is going to break down the cell walls, making it easier for those nutrients to pass through where they need to pass through. Raw food, hey man, if you want to eat like a caveman, that's great. I eat raw spinach every night. I hate cooked spinach. I only eat it raw.
Cooked spinach is slimy and gross. And when you cook spinach, you'll cook 78 tons of spinach and you'll get a dish about the size of the palm of your hand. Yeah. But for me, it's just throw it in there and eat it and be done with it. But so watch out for that, athletes in particular. That's going to have a limiting factor on the absorption of your macros. So protein, animal over plant, in my opinion, unless you're morally or medically a vegan or vegetarian, then as you said, make sure that you do your research and you don't just cut your body in half for those reasons. Carbs, you got simple and refined. Those are your fast absorbing carbs. A lot of times they're from refined foods and added sugars and things like that. But something like rolled oats, particularly quick oats, which are really kind of extra rolled so they cook faster. That's going to, it has a high glycemic index and it's going to spike your blood sugar. Yeah. But it also has fiber. And if you eat fruit along with it, you're good to go. Yep. Okay. But if you want a pre-workout and you don't want some store-bought chemical pre-workout, eat oats. Make yourself some oatmeal with some fruit, have some honey with it. And that's a lot of good, simple carbohydrates. Your complex carbohydrates are stuff that takes longer to break down, slow absorbing. Those are really good for you. Those are your good long-term energy carbohydrates. And your fats, we talked about mono and polyunsaturated. Those are your healthy fats. Fats are hydrophobic, so they don't like water. So understand what your solubility is in your vitamin intake. As we said, A, D, E, and K, those vitamins are fat soluble. They need fat to absorb into your system. However, B and C and those B vitamins, that's your B complex that bodybuilders and weightlifters and athletes like to use. Those are water. They're hydrophiles. Water likes them. They're water soluble. So don't dehydrate yourself. Also, this is where I'm coming back to what you were talking about with your raisins. Understand the ratio of calories to macros per serving.
Yep.
So this is what you were talking about. For example, peanut butter is a horrible product for
Protein.
value of protein per calorie.
Mm-hmm.
So a gram of protein has 4 calories.
A gram of peanut butter has 4 calories. Oh, no, sorry. I thought you, nope, you're right.
A gram of protein has 4 calories. In this peanut butter, which is not, it says natural. By the way, they can put the word natural on there pretty much anytime. Real peanut butter has one ingredient, peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
Peanuts have oil. That oil separates. You got to stir it and mix it. People don't want to do that, so they add emulsifiers, and which keeps you from having to stir it, but they can still put the word natural on it. So this is hard, y'all. It's hard to know all this stuff. Hopefully I'm providing a little bit of information. I don't want you to obsess. I don't want you to obsess over anything. I hate that thing now that we do now where he said, what's your latest obsession? Stop obsessing over shit. Educate yourself, know what you're doing, know what you're looking for, and make sure that you're taking care of yourself. But anyway, so the ratio in peanut butter is just, it's awful. There are 4 calories. Yeah, the glasses switch, and I do have contacts on too. There are 4 calories per gram of protein. There are 7 grams of protein in a serving of this peanut butter. There are 180 calories.
So 28,
per serving.
28 calories is from protein.
Correct. In 7, yes. So in a 32 gram serving, which is 2 tablespoons, okay? A 32 gram serving of this peanut butter is 180 calories. 28 of those calories are protein.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it, almost all the rest of it is fat.
Yum, 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 yum.
If you understand that, you can still eat peanut butter responsibly. But if you... I was like, don't drink and drive, right? Don't do drugs.
Eat peanut butter responsibly. Oh, God, Scott, we've got another hat. It's going on a T-shirt. It's going on a patch.
You heard it here first, folks. Eat your peanut butter responsibly. Don't eat peanut butter and try to put on a bikini. So that is a really tier 1 example of a really bad macro to calorie ratio
for protein specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it advertises itself as like a protein packed food, and it does have, a lot of protein in it compared to some of the stuff I've got over here. But
here's another example, and I don't even know why this is in my house.
Gimme.
I'll have to fuss at my wife about this. Parents in particular, or anybody who's trying to eat healthier, don't feed this to your kids. Yeah, it's oatmeal. They tell you made with whole grain oats, heart healthy oatmeal.
Well, I hope so if it's oatmeal.
Yeah, heart healthy oatmeal, and it has a asterisk or a cross or something, which I'm not even going to bother to read. But here's your heart healthy oatmeal, 160 calories per serving. That's 43 grams. That's a packet of this stuff. Of those 160 calories, there's 4 grams of protein. So somebody's going to look on the back of this and go, oh, there's protein in here. 4
Yay.
times 4 is 16. 16 of the 160 calories, 10%,
Is
right,
protein.
is protein. There are 12 grams of added sugar in that tiny little packet.
I'm going to say, yeah, for this one, it's not going to be the fat that's making it up. It's going to be the sugars and carbs.
What's great is there's no cholesterol. There's almost no fat, and the sodium's not that bad. But this is if you feed, let's say you feed this to your kids with a glass of orange juice before they go to school, guess what's going to happen to them in about 2 hours? First of all, they're going to get off the bus and they're going to be a holy terror.
Yeah.
They're going to be the Tasmanian
sugars,
devil.
yeah.
And then about 2 hours later, they're going to crash and fall asleep.
Yeah.
Because you've just given them a whole buttload of sugar and almost no fiber, no protein, and no fat. So avoid this. Instead, cook your own oats. It takes 5 minutes and sweeten it with honey, fruit, that kind of thing.
I love raisins.
If you're
in
telling
mine,
me I
personally.
can't get my kids to eat that, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to play the long game and deal with your kids bitching at you. And if they don't want to eat it, they don't have to eat it. Because I guarantee you, just like a dog, you know what they say about when the dog won't eat? The dog's not going to starve himself to death. They're going to eat. They're just being picky about their food.
That's why Rye keeps breaking into the cat food areas because she thinks she's starving while she's on her diet.
Calling your kids dogs. Don't everybody get all upset and start grabbing your pearls.
It's the only
but
example
it's the same thing. You're going to have to play the long game, and you're going to have to be the heavy sometimes, okay? The reason we have a lot of obese kids right now is, and I'm going to tell you, this is in my family too. My little brother, who will turn 40 this year, has been overweight to obese his entire life. And I remember when he was a kid, he was a picky eater. And my stepmother, to keep the peace, that boy must have eaten peanut butter and jelly for dinner while the rest of us were eating a good balanced meal.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
You're going to have to play the heavy and play the long game. And guess what? He's diabetic. He's got all the obesity diseases. He has to wear a CPAP at night because he has sleep apnea. Well, how's that? How about that? Would you rather have your kids hate you for a few minutes?
Which they won't even remember when they grow up, maybe.
And have a long and healthy life? Let me get off that tangent. That's a whole other thing. Let me wrap this up. So we had poor ratio sources of food. Let me give you some really, really good ratio sources of food. Tuna. In 1 4-ounce serving of tuna, you have 149 calories and 32 grams of protein.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 108, 64 and 60, 128. 128 of those calories. Did I do that math right? I don't want to sound like an idiot.
64 times 2, yeah.
128 of your 149 calories is protein.
Yeah.
That is the ratio that you're looking for if you're in training or if you're looking to boost your protein intake. And it comes with all sorts of other health benefits. Tuna, dark fish does as well. It does have, so you got to be careful. Fish has some fat. There's some mercury issues, things like that. So again, know your food. If you can't eat that or you don't like fish, fine. I hope you can eat fish once or twice a week, but if not, fine. We can supplement for that to a certain extent. Another example, 4 ounces of ground chicken. Now, let me stop there for a second because I don't want you, particularly with ground beef, I want you to look for the fat to meat ratio in your ground beef. So the most common is 85-15.
Yep.
85%
there's
meat,
80,
15% fat. It's cut with fat, so it has some flavor. Now, when I cook ground beef, I buy the leanest ground beef or the leanest ground chicken I can find, and I can find ground chicken that's 95.5. I cook it, I drain it, and I drain it on paper towels, and I mash it down with paper towels until it's almost dry. I don't season it when I cook it. I'm not a chef. I don't care. I want the nutrients in me with as little fuss as possible, and I add salt and pepper and crushed red pepper. That's all I use for seasonings, and that's good enough for me.
And
I
that makes
don't
you
need
happy.
a culinary experience. The Food Network ruined the entire earth as far as what is a reasonable expectation of food preparation and meals.
Well, and I'm a little different, whereas I like a little seasoning. And people always ask me, like, I don't really cook, but then when I do cook, I'm a fantastic cook. I get it. I get the chemistry behind it, whatever. And it's because I have experimented with flavors. I have this whole thing of spices, and I'll just get out and just kind of do this. And then once I find it, I'm like, great. I know which ones. Bing, bing, boom. And it gives it a little. I was gonna say, and it gives it a little
spices
bit of.
A lot of spices have a lot of health benefits.
Yeah,
Hey, spice your food however you want. What I'm saying is, I don't bother with it until a little salt and pepper. And crushed red pepper.
Well,
at
that's
the
what
end.
I'm saying. If that works for you.
What I'm talking about more in particular is draining the fat.
Yeah, getting rid of it. Well, and two, like I love. I have to say, my favorite food is probably sloppy joes. And if you don't drain your meat after then you put the manwich in, you just got like this soupy, oily. It's no good. It's no good. Always drain your meat.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
That's what she said. And I'll give you one of these and one of these. Thank you very much. balanceFIT Radio After Dark.
Cut me off.
All right. So anyway, 4 ounces of ground chicken, and this this is taken from the USDA. So my chicken is actually going to have less calories, and it's actually going to have a higher ratio of protein to weight.
Yeah.
Because I drain it so much, which is a whole other conversation. But anyway, your basic 4 ounces of lean ground chicken is going to be about 130 calories. You're going to get about 22 grams of protein with that. So we're talking 88 grams of protein, or 88 of those 130 calories are protein. That's a good ratio. That's what you're looking for. Here's something else. Here's a processed food that is an excellent source of protein.
Yeah.
And has an elite ratio of calories to protein, whey protein. Now, I want to stop there. Whey protein isolate, not concentrate. I want you to make sure that you know the difference. Whey protein isolate is processed more to get the fat and carbohydrates out of it, so it's almost pure protein. Whey protein concentrate it's cheaper and it has a little more flavor. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, the ratio here with whey protein isolate, in mine that I use in particular, the serving size is 36 grams. It has 120 calories and 25 grams of protein. So 100 of those 120 calories, pure protein, and an excellent source of protein. And on and on and on. Egg whites. 4 egg whites is 100 calories, 20 grams of protein. That's 80 calories of the 100 calories is protein. You see where I'm going with this? This is what you need to be looking for. And then we circle back. All right, here's an example, even worse than the peanut butter. A product that I used to consume pretty frequently when I was in a previous job, and I had my lunch had to be in my pocket. When I caddied.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop. We were going all day.
Can't stop, won't stop, Caddy.
And actually, this wasn't bad for me because I burned this with no problem. But most people eat this stuff as a snack.
Yeah.
Like sitting at their desk all day. I'm not hating on Cliff, but this is just an example of a bad calories to macro ratio. So this Cliff Bar chocolate chip is 260 calories. 1 bar, 1 serving, 260 calories. And you say to yourself, well, that doesn't sound like very much. 9 grams of protein. That means 36 of those 260 calories are protein. The rest of it is not great.
Yeah.
A lot of sugar and salt.
And you know what's funny? I don't even think they taste good. Sorry, Cliff, you're just not for me.
Yeah, they're not for everybody.
They were never my cup of tea, and yeah.
And I want to wrap up my part of this by saying, just kind of pointing out other foods that are marketed. Oh my God, the whole thing now. For a while there, everything was fat-free, and then everything was
sugar-free,
whatever it was, and then we went through the whole plant-based, and then vegan. I actually was in Target one day shopping I was in the women's cosmetics area because I needed to buy some. Oh yeah, I was buying her deodorant or something like that, and I happened to walk by the nail polish, and it said vegan nail polish, and I'm like, Jesus, what are we doing here? Anyway, so now the thing is they're going to slap the word protein on everything.
Yeah.
And there are no regulations on what the hell that means. It can be an incomplete protein, meaning it doesn't have all 9 essential amino acids, which is basically meaningless. You can't count unless you complement it with the missing amino acids. You can't even count it in your protein count. Although the individual amino acids, the branched chain amino acids, they do certain things. But we're looking for whole foods and complete proteins here. So they slap the word protein on everything. Please do not buy the hype. Do not buy the marketing. Flip it over and look at this label. Plant-based proteins, not the best. Fake meats, like what was that? What was the thing?
Impossible?
The Impossible Burger. No, stay away from it. There's a reason it doesn't exist anymore. Things like breakfast cereals and dairy alternatives that are labeled as like soy, dairy alternatives like soy or almond milk. Everybody loves almond milk. You know what almond milk is? Like 98% water with some sugar and emulsifiers.
Coffee creamer makes me so sad. It's so delicious, guys, but you don't even have to put that in the fridge. Like it is all soybean oil. Like try to find an alternative dairy based if you can. Coffee
true.
creamer if you have to have coffee or creamer in your coffee. Otherwise, do what I did and spend a little more money on a really quality coffee and learn how to drink it black.
Yeah.
I put some cinnamon in my grounds and brew it with cinnamon through. So just a little bit more quality coffee and learn how to drink it black.
I drink coffee black. My wife has artificial non-dairy creamer in the house, and I don't fuss at her very much because she uses about a teaspoon of it a day.
Oh, it makes me happy.
So
but it's
some
just,
people
God,
are
it's
like
awful.
going that left and right on that
so-
stuff.
It's so
and just
gross.
like anything else in the world, stuff that's bad for you, it's not going to kill you if you use it very, very sparingly. So if you can't tolerate dairy and you need a non-dairy alternative, you're fine. Just be aware.
Yeah, shouldn't be half your cup.
Yeah. And dairy alternatives, suboptimal protein sources, and that's it. That's what I wanted to bring to the table about nutrition labels, the nutrition panel, reading a food label, and hopefully I've brought a little bit of something of help and information to the table with you for that.